Everybody, this is Dell. Welcome to Dell on Movies, and we got another mini swap. That means we're only going to be talking about one movie tonight, and we're going to have a blast doing it. And the person I'm going to be talking to is another person very special to me. His sister was on a few weeks back, and now it's my nephew Eli. Welcome to the show, Mr. Eli. What's going on?
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Very happy to be here. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing?
Cool, cool. So we'll get to the movie, but I got a
Mm.
confession, small confession to make. You know, I'm a diehard Knicks fan all my life, and the other night I wasn't watching the game, and then towards the end of the game, I picked it up a little bit, and they were down
Mm.
like 15 or so, 10 or 15. It was like 2 minutes left. I said,
Yeah.
I guess we lost game one, and then I got up, and we had to win in overtime. So
Hmm.
I say all that to say because you are you ever since you were little really hardcore in basketball, and
Yep.
so now I got to ask, what are the Knicks' chances of taking the whole thing?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not too confident in New York. I think they're a really good team, and I do think that they're better than Detroit. But I don't. I mean, not Detroit, Cleveland. But I don't believe. I think anybody that comes out of the West is probably gonna win. Like San Antonio and Oklahoma City Thunder, they are so like they're two powerhouse teams, and I believe in either one of those teams to take the championship. So I think the Knicks have a good shot at getting to the finals. I'll give you that. Yeah, I don't know about actually winning it. That's a tough
That's the
task.
story of my life, actually. So I've they won a championship one time in my life, but I was 2 years old, so I had no clue what happened. I
Yeah.
just learned about it later. So I've never really experienced the Knicks winning the title. And
Hmm.
if you're not confident, I mean, I've never been confident in a long time. So
Yeah, they won in the what was it, the 70s that they won?
73 they won.
73, right?
That was the
Yeah.
last time they won. They won, I think, 70 and 73 or something like that.
Right. I mean, y'all been close. Y'all got it. Y'all got there in the '90s, in the mid '90s. End up losing to Hakeem and them, but y'all been close a few times. But I just every single time it seems like New York has gotten back to the finals, it seems like they just been outmatched by just a better team. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Let me walk you through one of my most painful moments. We
Hmm.
This the last time they made the finals. It was against the Rockets, and no, I take that back. That was not the last time, but that was their best chance. The
Yeah.
last time
Yeah.
they were an 8 seed and they made it to the finals. I want to say it was San Antonio they lost to.
Yep.
Um, but it was 94,
Hmm.
and it was game six. Game six, the Knicks needed to win game six to win the series,
Right.
and they had the lead, or it was a close game, kind of back and forth.
Hmm.
And John starts chucking up threes, and he's missing them left, right, and
That's
center.
right.
Oh, I was
That's right.
I was pissed at him. I was pissed at Pat Riley for not pulling him.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But anyway, you know, such
I
is
mean,
life.
what can you do? What can you do? It's definitely been a tough, long road for Knicks fans for a while now. But y'all have a good team this year, and I definitely think y'all can get there. But winning is gonna be that's a tough task.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Um, I I hope they can do it. Of course, obviously, I'm
Hmm.
not sure how confident I really am. I know what I said a few minutes ago. I don't know how confident I really am.
Yeah,
Um, but I'll be watching. We'll see what happens.
we'll see. You never
And
know.
you never know. You never
You
know.
never know.
Uh, since we're on the subject of basketball, and you have, like me, from what I understand, you've been a little bit of a historian of the game.
Just a little
So I
bit.
got to ask the question that everybody talks about all over the internet and all over ESPN every other day: Who's the
Yep.
goat?
All right. So to me, when I watched Michael Jordan play basketball. And mind you, I wasn't alive during the time period, but going back to watch, because I like to watch, full games, because they have a lot of full games on YouTube. I like to watch as many highlights as I can. And I can't help but think that Michael Jordan is the greatest. I don't think the six rings argument that a lot of people try to just say that, oh, just because he won six championships, he's the GOAT. I don't believe in that. I think it's a lot more nuanced than that. But I do think his game was so much ahead of its time. Like when you go back and watch him and the stuff that he was doing a lot of stuff that I turn on the TV and I see Shea do, in terms of
Right.
the footwork and the up and unders and the step throughs and all of that type of stuff. So I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT, but I always say if you think LeBron is the GOAT, I'm not mad at you. Like he's to me, he's done enough. He's an all-time great player, and I think they're 1A and 1B, and whoever you have as 1A is totally up to you, and I'm cool with it either way.
Okay. Cool. Of course, I'm in Mike's corner
Yeah.
on that debate. When you bring up Shea, my thing with Shea is when I watch him play, is that he does what a lot of today's players do
Hmm.
is he tries to work to draw the foul
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
shoot free throws. And the difference there for me with Jordan and a lot of players back then is they worked to get the bucket
Right.
and accepted the foul if they were going to the bucket.
Right.
Right? They played through the contact to get it where now it's kind of like, throw your hands up as soon as somebody touches you and flail and
Right.
flop and do all those kinds of things. And
Yeah.
that irks my nerves along with the gather step, but that's a whole nother conversation.
I'm a Gather Step fan. I still play, and I'm not gonna lie. I've been using it in my, sometimes when I go play, and it's a great move. I'm, I'm not too mad at
So it's
it.
four ace step, okay. But I watch
Hmm.
some of these guys, it's like 4 or 5 steps. And it's,
Yeah,
then a shot. I'm like, what are we
yeah.
doing here? I feel like I'm looking at the little kids play, 7 and 8 year olds to pick up the ball and run. But like I said,
Right.
that's a whole other issue. Uh, the other thing you've kind of been a historian on is hip hop. Your
Hmm.
Instagram, lots of hip hop going on, echoes of
Yep.
Eli. So I got to put you on the spot one more time.
Hmm.
Top five.
Whew, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Now he knew because he knows me, not because I told him it was coming.
Right. Because I absolutely knew you. So I literally thought earlier today, I was like, I might want to get a top five list prepared, whether it's albums, rappers, whatever. I got to get a top five list of some sorts. So for my top five, I would say Kendrick Lamar. Um, I would say Nas. I would say Andre 3000 is in my top five. I would say Biggie, and I would say Jay Z, with
Okay.
a huge honorable mention to Tupac. Tupac would be right outside my top five. But yeah,
That is a
that's
very respectable top five from an old man. I really do appreciate that. Your uncles, your
hmm
uncles gave me flack because we were kind of throwing that around in our group chat. Who's your top five? And Kendrick's actually in my top five, and it kind of blew their mind. Like, what? Why? Why? You're not young.
really.
But yeah, he's in
I
my top.
Yeah, Kendrick, for me, what I would say to my uncles, my other uncles, if they were here, is that what Nas was for you guys is what Kendrick is for me. Like how I feel about Kendrick and his music, his lyrics, and his
Yeah,
bars and all that type of stuff. Like he's my Nas. So that's
right.
why to me he's definitely there. He's definitely there.
And I get that, and I've listened to that's why he's in my top five. I've listened to his albums. Most albums that I listen to now is kind of one and done.
Yeah,
But with his albums, he gives you a lot more to chew on. So I wind up
right,
listening to those albums 2, 3, 4, 5 times, like early on, and then go back to them periodically.
right.
So, and some of the things he's done, and he's got, I would say, 3 classic albums.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
he's in
definitely,
my five. So
yeah,
I'm not mad.
I think he's done enough. Like I when I compare him to other great rappers and look at their resumes, their discographies, and all that type of stuff, To me, I feel like he's done enough. He has two albums that you could probably argue are top 15, top 10, top 20 all time, with Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly being back to back, on top of Dropping Damn and then Missing Around and all that. So I don't know what else I would really need or people really need to put him in that top five. I think he's done more than enough. So
He won a Pulitzer. Who
I'm
won?
saying, I'm saying.
Now, my issue with Kendrick is not necessarily with Kendrick, but my
Mm,
issue is that when I talk to people around your age and especially younger, but people around your ages, the feeling I get is they respect Kendrick, but they don't really listen to Kendrick. Now, am I
yeah.
off base here?
No, you're not. I would say a lot of people my age, they like respect it from afar. Like, oh, Kendrick's great. He made To Pimp a Butterfly, he made whatever, but they couldn't name you top five of the songs that he's made besides like All Right and whatever other mainstream hit he
And not
has.
like us.
Not like us, right? So, so that I share a similar frustration, especially with the way that like online hip hop discourse is nowadays. A lot of people have a lot to say very quickly. They'll hop online and they'll just, bash somebody without ever actually going to check the music. So that kind of bothers me too. But you're not off base at all.
Okay, cool. Last hip hop, well, next to last hip hop question, but the last hip hop question before I go to the chat
Mm.
is I wasn't expecting to talk about this at all, and I didn't listen to them, but Kendrick's Adversary dropped 3 albums in a day. Did you listen
We
to any of
did.
them? And are they as bad as
No.
people are saying?
So two part. No, I have not because my thing with Drake, and this has been true before the battle. Like this is before whatever happened in 2024. This is how I've kind of always felt about Drake, is that I'm not really a Drake guy. Like I'll listen to Drake when he comes on, and I've checked a lot. I've checked all of his like older stuff. I've listened to most of his discography at this point. But especially as of recently, the past couple of years, he's not somebody I'm like, oh, Drake drop an album, I'm about to go check it out. And with this recent drop, I was honestly upset because I had every intention of listening to Iceman like the morning that it dropped or the next day that it dropped. But then I saw it was 3 albums, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh, I was just like, come
something like
on,
50
like.
songs, 50 some odd songs or something.
Yeah, yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just listen to Iceman, and then the other two I'll hear whatever. I'm sure one of them will stick for people, and I'll hear it on TikTok or whatever. So I'll hear what I'll need to from there, but I haven't checked them out yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar on Drake. It's like I don't go listen to Drake albums. I hear the singles, and
Right,
a lot of them I like, some of them I don't, and I move on. And for me, he's not
right.
like when people call it the big three with him, Kendrick, and J. Cole. Like
Hmm.
for me, he's not in their class at all.
No, yeah,
He's a pop star.
yeah,
He's a pop
yeah.
star.
I
There's nothing
remember.
wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that at all. I remember
just don't
most.
tell me he's a great lyricist or anything.
Right, right. I remember most Def did an interview where he was asked like, is Drake hip hop or is Drake rap? And he was like, Drake is pop, and he was like, Drake is he's you would hear Drake in Target like as you're shopping, and
Yes,
I'm
yes,
like,
I've
you
seen
know,
that interview. All right, we
yeah.
do have a couple people out here. Let's see who is hanging out. And this is Mr. Steve. What's going on, Steve? Steve is a big, 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 big supporter of the channel. And this is the gentleman that you were mentioning. So, Marcus, he is 14K Slum Media Wizard. I did get it right. Okay.
All
He says, what's up?
right. What's up? What's up?
Commenting on your top five. He says, solid five.
Thank you. Thank you.
And remember, man, he's under 30, so that's like even more respectable because who knows what happens with a lot of top fives for the younger people.
Right.
So I will say I not my top 5, 10, maybe even not even 20,
Hmm.
but I do understand a lot of people having like Lil Wayne in their top as their guy because he
Yeah.
was running things for a while, so I get it.
Yeah,
I get
Wayne's in my like group that I understand if he's in your top five. Like I fully get it. He's just not in mine. Like, but I
it. Right,
fully get it though.
right. Long time no see to my man 4K D Ray. What's going on? Actually, not a long time. He was here a couple weeks back. So, and he does a lot of great stuff. He's been doing some. Well, he started with movie stuff. He did some gaming stuff. I think he's coming back to some movie stuff on
Nice.
Instagram. You know, he's got some car content also, or he had some anyway. You might have to search a little bit for him.
Hmm.
But he's a longtime supporter of this channel, and I pretty much got into YouTube uh, because of him a lot in a lot of ways because I went on his channel and
Nice.
I just started my channel and he invited me on. He used to do these media physical media battles where you basically get a
Hmm.
category and you pick a movie against somebody else and then people vote on it and that kind of thing.
Cool.
And that was kind of the start for me.
Cool.
And here's somebody you know.
Hey, Deanna.
Yeah, she was actually on a few weeks back. We talked about Coolie High. That was a really fun episode. Made some of my watches feel really old because some of the things she did not see. Caprice, I can't say it like Caprice, but if you ever hear her say it, it is pretty. And I need to get Caprice. I need to get you back on here. It's been a while. So a few of you, I need to get back on. All right, so let's get into it really. But before I did have one other kind of hip hop question that's going to lead into this.
Hmm.
Um, as far as I know and can tell, you are like I said, you're a hip hop historian, but and well versed in '90s rap. How
Yeah.
well versed are you in '80s rap?
80s, not as well as 90s. I'll tell you that right now.
I got you.
I'll tell you that right now. Like I can tell you that most rappers from the 80s, I can definitely tell you, oh, I know this album for them, or I know these couple songs from them, or whatever the case may be. But like fully knowing deep cuts and all that, I'm not quite there yet. I'm trying to get there, but I'm not quite there yet.
And that's fair because I mean, from my vantage point, the '80s was like slowly evaporating from people's memory.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's '90s forward, and
Yeah.
that's just the conversation. Everything '80s because you get the idea from people. They think everybody raps like actually like Grandmaster Flash in the
Yeah.
'80s. That's what people. That's what kind of what people think. And the
Yeah.
'80s, the end of the '80s, we're kind of working out of that. And that brings me to the movie that we're going to talk about, and
Hmm.
that is Crush Groove. Let's get the glare out of there. There we go. Crush Groove, 1985, and it is a dramatization. So it's not 100% factual. It's a dramatization of the birth of Def Jam.
Yep.
Is what we have. Everyone in the movie plays themselves except for a few side characters, but of the main cast, we got Blair Underwood playing Russell Simmons.
Yep.
The rest of the movie, the rest of this few side characters that just are characters, not necessarily playing themselves, but anybody most of the people who have speaking parts are playing themselves. Like most of them, we got a
Yep.
few gangsters in here that are not, and things like that.
Right.
Um, yeah. So the movie for me, this was a big deal. Um, I actually made a video about it if anybody else there wants to watch about when I went to see this movie. I was about 14,
Hmm.
and uh, there used to be this theater in New York, and some people will know it. I know 14K is from New York. He knows the theater I'm talking about. It's a theater called Sunrise, and it was a standalone building. It wasn't like most theaters now. You kind of attached to some shopping center or something like that. This was a standalone
Hmm.
building. It was in a big shopping area, but it stood by itself, and it had I think 18 theaters in it, like full size theaters. So this building was massive,
Wow.
and the line was wrapped around the building to go in to see this.
Wow.
So at the beginning of the movie, we just got kind of a generic intro, just generic music, doesn't really sound too hot. And then we
Hmm.
eventually get to Run DMC standing in the booth and they launch into King of Rock. Now, when that happened in the theater, the song and most of Run
Hmm.
DMC songs had been out at least a year before the movie came out. So we knew the song.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Most movies, there's brand new songs, but in this case, that's those songs. Their songs had been out already. So when
Yeah.
he launched into "I'm the King of Rock," everybody in the theaters was citing this along with him,
Oh, that's
which was
crazy.
which was really, really, really cool. And so my first,
Yeah.
yeah, so my first thing is I'm not gonna go through all the songs, but just some of the big ones. King of Rock, 1 to 10. What do you got?
I gave King of Rock. I literally have my notes over here to the side. Is I liked it. I really liked it. I would probably give it like a. I would probably give it like a eight, 8 or 9. I gotta sit with it, go back a few times, but I really liked it. It was what I also kind of recognized early, and we could talk about this a little bit too later. Is the rock and roll like influence into the song is not something that I'm fully used to. A lot of rap songs, like you said, post '90s aren't really. We kind of moved away from the
Right.
influence of the other genres that heavily at least. But that was definitely like a whoa, okay, cool. This is dope.
Yeah, that was really the second song like that. They had a song on their first album called Rock Box. King of Rock was
Hmm.
actually the name of their second album. So Rock Box was first, and it was also very, very rock inspired. And then King of Rock, and then on the third album is probably a song you've heard 1,000 times. Probably Walk This Way with Aerosmith.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the story is Run DMC didn't want any of these songs.
No.
They did not want to do them. They were like, "This is not what we do. This is not who we are." And Russell
Right.
and Ruben kind of pushed it on them, like, "Hey, you need to do this. We need something that'll get people to listen to other people other than just the streets." And
Right.
it worked out well for them. It worked out well for them.
Wow.
So to get into what's going on with here, they just pressing their first record. King of Rock is a record that they're pressing, and
Mhm.
it's kind of taking over the streets, and they're getting real popular. And Russell now he's trying to fund his label, and he's running around trying to borrow money. He goes to his
Yep.
dad, and he goes to the bank, and he goes to a few other places. And as you're watching this, what's kind of going on with you as far as movie wise or music wise, anything there?
Yeah. So, first of all, I was just couldn't help but think about the fact that how close this might have been to, what really Def Jam was like getting started off the ground, the money aspect of it.
Right.
Because you think about these Def Jam records now, and it's just like, oh, yes, it's this big, label, and it's so iconic and it's so great. And it's just like, well, everywhere has a starting point, right? So watching him go around asking people for money and all that, that was definitely gave me a little bit more insight to what it might have really been like. And I also thought the conversation he had with, if I remember correctly, his dad in the church.
Yeah,
Um,
this is that. That was his dad. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So I think that was a pretty interesting conversation because his dad obviously didn't really want to give him the money, and he was more hesitant about it. And then he ended up saying some words to him that was important later. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool to watch and think about what it was really like starting up from Def Jam.
Yeah. We get the sense that dad has seen this before. Russell's been
Right,
doing this for a while. It's like, come on, man. What do you? I
right,
can't give you this money. It's like,
right, right.
and Blair Underwood, he's obviously he's an actor, but so far we got Run DMC going in there, and I almost forgot to show everybody I'm wearing my Run DMC shirt today. But
Yeah.
we go around with them a little more, and they go into a club, and they are well, Run is mesmerized by one Sheila E. up on the
Yep.
stage.
Yep.
Um, uh, that song, how'd you feel about that? Her song, her first song, and this
So,
one was oh, it was an MC. That's why I needed my list because I wrote it down. I forgot it. Let me go back to it. But anyway, well, forget about the song. I'll come when I get the title. I will let you know because I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking for it right now. But just to let you know, no, Sheila E had nothing to do with Def Jam in real life. But as
okay.
far as movie wise goes, how did that play out for you?
So that scene was actually one that I wrote down because during her performance, there was like a like a chalkboard or something in the background, and it had names of
Yeah.
multiple rappers, that were associated with Def Jam, whatever. And I thought that was really cool to look at because I found myself watching the movie and pausing and being like, okay, that's Curtis Blow. All right, that's Grandmaster Flash's name. All right, who else is up here? Like, just trying to see who I could find up there. As far as her performance, I also thought that was cool because I did not experience the disco era, like the disco era really wasn't a thing for us. So to have a more disco focused artist and song be featured in the movie, I thought that was really cool. I didn't hear or know of Sheila E. before the movie. I thought she did a good job acting. Like her acting was actually pretty good. I can't say the same about some of the other rappers in
Yeah,
the
we're,
movie.
we're gonna start going through that list. You mentioned the chalkboard on the back. One thing I've picked up this time that I had never actually picked up on before was they
Mhm.
had LL Cool J written up there, and they spelled cool with a K.
Yes, yep, I saw that, and
And
I thought
he's not done that.
so. Okay, because I was gonna ask, I was like, did he go by that like very early on,
He
and
might
then
have very early, but I don't ever remember seeing it with a K.
okay, okay,
So I don't, but I could be wrong. As far as Sheila E., interesting you mentioned this disco. It's definitely a more pop tune, and that it's called
mm,
Love Bazaar. That's the name of the song.
okay,
Um, Prince is she's a Prince artist. He basically
got you.
everything out of her mouth on her first album, and every song was composed by him, written by him, produced by him, and he's actually on
Really?
background in this particular song. The guy that
Wow.
was sharing the mic with her, he was just lip syncing Prince's parts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I
But
did.
go ahead.
So I was just gonna say I did Google Sheila E. and I saw that she had some sort of Prince connection, but I didn't know she was they was that
Yeah,
locked in.
that was one of his artists. Um, possibly more. But the big hit that you may have heard accidentally was a song called "Glamorous Life." That's the one that's kind of was everywhere
Okay.
for her. Um, like I said, Run is kind of mesmerized by her, and he
Hmm.
goes and sits at their table with her and one of her friends. Run and DMC go there, and they kind of do the flirting thing, kind of, sort of, kind of
Yeah.
awkward a little bit. And we're starting to see about that rapping, those actors, those rappers that are acting. We get to see about theirs.
Yeah.
Give me some on their performances, Run and DMC.
So so Run wasn't horrible. Like I could stomach Brum's performance. Like it was like okay, obviously this is a rapper trying to act, so I'm giving him some grace, and I wasn't expecting a super high bar. This ain't gonna be premium acting, but Run wasn't horrible. DMC, I could tell why he did not speak that much. That's all. Because I think through the whole movie, once I got towards the end, I was like, man, DMC maybe said like 8 lines, maybe five
Yeah, yeah,
lines. But I
yeah.
could see
Run was
why,
always kind of
because
the face. I was always a DMC fan as far as on record, more of a DMC fan as far as on songs. But yeah, you're right. Acting wise, it's like
yeah,
no,
that wasn't for him. It's okay.
no. I liken it to a Nas acting performance. Have you ever seen Belly?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was the same kind of thing. You just whatever your persona is off screen is exactly what you're giving me, but that doesn't
exactly.
translate well for a film.
Right.
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 So that's what I got. I'm gonna check. We got a few comments here, so I'm gonna go ahead and run through some of these real quick.
Okay.
And let's see where we left off. 4K had a question for I'm assuming us, but mostly you. What's one hip hop group with an underrated album, and what's one underrated '90s rapper people don't talk about enough?
Mm.
Those are interesting questions. I like those questions.
Mm. Okay. I would say a hip hop group with an underrated album. I just did a post on this, but Little Brother, so they're a rap group out of NC, and they dropped a. It's really more of a mixtape, but it's they revised it and kind of made it a unofficial album. But the Chillin' Circuit 1.5, if you ever have time or want to go check that out, uh, they they did their big one with that. Big Daddy Kane is up there, and
Yeah.
some other people I can't remember. Kanye's on one of the tracks, but definitely one of my more favorite albums that doesn't maybe get talked about that much.
Shout
Anyone
out
else?
to Ninth Wonder, the producer slash DJ. He just
Yep.
recently graduated from
Yes, he
NC
did.
Central, and what a lot of people may not realize is that he has been teaching at NC Central for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So teaching a course on hip hop actually. So
Yeah.
much love to
Yeah.
Ninth Wonder for that. I was trying to think of one that's just like underrated, and I would say, uh, is it '90s even though? It's either '89 or '90, so forgive me if it's not quite '90s, but I'm gonna
Hmm.
say De La Soul is Dead, De La Soul's second album.
Okay.
Um, I think it's just it's an excellent album and it's dense. So people at the time may not have gotten everything that they were trying to say on the album.
Hmm.
And De La Soul's always like that, but that would be that would be my one just right off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more. The other part,
Countless.
underrated '90s rapper people don't talk about enough.
Hmm. I like that question. I might let you go first. Let me think about that for a sec.
Uh, the one I want to say people are starting to talk more about,
Hmm.
and I would say AZ. Um,
Love AZ. I love AZ.
AZ,
Yeah.
yeah, people are starting to talk more about him because he's it's one of those things where people for years are like, hey, he's most underrated rapper, and now everybody's saying he's the most underrated rapper, so now he's kind
Yeah.
of going the other way.
Yeah, I feel the same with people do that with basketball players. They'll be like, "Oh, yeah, this player is
Yeah,
underrated," and they'll call him underrated for 5 years, and then it's like, well, he's not really underrated no more.
all right,
If everybody thinks he's
right,
underrated, but no, I really like AZ. Um, hmm, I might have to come back to that. I might have to come
okay,
back to that. Let me think about that for a little bit.
not a problem at all. All right, Caprice, I'll have to check this out. Haven't seen this. I'll definitely check it out. No horror. It's not horror, Caprice. Sorry, but definitely check it out. Oh, here's a great underrated album. Jerry with the Damage of the Sun Rises in the East. Yes.
Mm,
Um, if you've not heard this album, it is a fantastic album. It goes against the grain with what a lot of '90s rap is. You know, the '90s rap is that hardcore. Now we're hardcore track era rap,
yeah,
and Jerry the Damager is the flip side of that. He's speaking, we shouldn't be doing this, and women shouldn't be
mm,
degrading themselves, and but he's still gonna, talk his smack. So he's
yeah.
gonna do that
It's
too.
mandatory. It's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory. And is that album came out at a time. The reason why it's named that, or one of the reasons it's named that, is because at that time was when the West Coast was really taking over, and he's a
Yep.
Brooklyn rapper. DJ Premier did most of his songs, most of his albums,
Okay.
um,
Nice.
and star affiliation.
Hmm.
So yeah, he was like, "All right, New York, we got something to say," So
Yeah.
that was it came right on time.
Nice.
And Rockbox first rap video on MTV. Legend. I forgot that they were the first one, not counting Blondie, of course.
No, they were the first one. Okay, nice.
Yep. Blondie. I don't know if you know, or if you're familiar with Blondie at all. They were
Hmm.
really like a punk band, and they did a song, "Rapture." Had Fat Five Freddy on it, and the lead singer raps a bit. Deborah Harry, she raps,
Oh,
and
word. Okay.
it's an iconic and important song in hip hop because it was kind of the first kind of crossover deal.
Word. Okay. I'm not familiar with Blondie. Actually, I've heard the name. I knew they
Yeah,
were kind of more of a, you know,
yeah,
alternative.
yeah. They're a punk band, and it's
Yeah.
just this one particular song. So it's not like
Mm,
their whole discography is like we throwing in rap all the time. But
just that one
you know,
track. Okay.
this one hit. He was also
Nice.
mesmerized by Sheila E. and definitely for love for little brother.
Absolutely.
And see. And he said, yes, 4K D Ray said that's definitely an NCS. He's also from North Carolina. So
Word.
he
Okay.
understands. He definitely
Absolutely, and that's the
understands.
answer.
And Rick Rubin was so bad. I wonder if he had ever actually spoken before. As far getting back to the actors in the movie, Rick Rubin, yes, he played himself.
Yes.
So that is really him. That's in the bank trying to get the loan with the movie Russell.
Yeah.
Great producer, yeah. Acting, not so
Oh,
much. Not so much.
yeah.
What do you think about that scene? Since we're on that subject, they go into the bank and
Uh-huh.
they're trying to get a loan to get Def Jam funded. It's not going so hot.
Yeah. It scene was funny because the person that they're trying to negotiate with, he was like, "Rap, what is rap?" It was like- and they was trying to get the money or whatever. But I definitely felt the same way about the Rick Rubin. Anytime he spoke and was trying to act or do his thing, I was like, "Yeah, this ain't really for you. This ain't really for you." And I kind of felt at some point. I wrote it down, but I kind of felt bad for Blair Underwood because I was just like, I felt like he did a like I feel like his performance was really good, and he kind of maybe had to carry a little bit the scene just to get it moving along. But the scene was funny though. I definitely laughed.
Oh yeah, he was definitely carrying everybody that
Yeah,
he shared the screen with for sure. There was
absolutely.
just, I mean, there was really no other way because he is, like I said, some of the smaller characters, are
Mm.
actors as well, but no, he's not. He was working by himself a lot of time. Speaking of Drake, he stole Fonte's whole shtick.
Yeah, yeah, we're not gonna talk about
Prince in here,
that.
Prince, what's going on, Prince? So what's good in the hood? Y'all good? We all good. And okay, D Ray said my answer would be, but he didn't give me an answer. Come on, man. All right, so somewhere in there, we meet the Fat Boys. And
Yes, we
at
do.
this time, they're known as the Disco Three. That's a real thing. They were really known as the Disco Three.
Okay,
And,
cool.
they're kind of, well, we first meet Prince Marky D. Rest in peace to him.
Rest in peace.
And
Yes.
he's waiting under the elevated train and he's looking at this girl.
Hmm.
And did you have any idea what was coming? Let me put it that. Let's go there.
I did not. I thought maybe he was gonna try to holler or do something. I didn't know what was going to happen. I wasn't expecting it, but I didn't know what was going to happen for sure.
Yeah. So for anybody out there, for if you haven't seen it, if you're familiar with New York and other places have it too, there's elevated trains where you basically have to walk up the steps and the train tracks run overhead. And so he's kind of under the staircase and he sees this girl he likes, and he sees her, kind of gives her the licks his lips and that kind of
Right.
thing. And then the boyfriend sees him and makes a mean face at him. Boyfriend is like, all muscles. And they walk up the stairs, and he still tries to look under under her skirt, and she pours down whatever she was
Pours
drinking
down whatever she was drinking.
onto him. And
Yep.
yeah, go ahead.
The boyfriend, he was like steroid built. Like
Yeah,
he was huge. And I didn't know what he was taking, what was going on around that time. When he first came on, I was just like, why is he so like he looks unhealthy? Like, he just looks unhealthy.
when you stick a pin in him, he might pop.
Right, right.
And we meet the rest of the group. Rest of the group is Kurotski was the other rapper in the group,
Yep.
and Buffy the Human Beatbox. He was Beatbox.
Mm,
R.I.P. to him. Also, Kurosky is the only person left alive, unfortunately.
hmm.
He's actually a fitness nut. So
Oh,
he kind
really?
of looks like, or at least I don't know about now because he's older, but
Yeah.
at one point he was kind of starting to look like the boyfriend in that scene. Um,
That's funny.
yeah, so he's still here, and we meet them. What about them as a group, as far as the acting goes? And then they did do a
Hmm.
song, "Don't You Dog Me," when they got
Yep.
into the school.
Yep. So their dynamic I really enjoyed. Like I honestly I put this down, but I kind of wish we got a little bit more of it, like, or at least I got a little bit more of it, because I really enjoyed their dynamic of like they're up and coming group. They're just trying to. They really only care about making music. In the scene where they get kind of in trouble in the classroom and they all three of them stand up. Because they're trying to show they ride for each other. Like I thought that was really really cool to see. As far as the acting, you know, at this point, at that point in the movie, I kind of stopped, paying attention to the bad acting. I was just like,
Gotcha.
I
It is
was
what it is, right?
it is what it is. But I like Buff though. I like Buff. I like his acting. I liked his character. I thought he was kind of the glue that kind of held them together a little bit, and I really enjoyed, like I said, their dynamic. The one that turned into fitness guru, I
Yeah.
forget his name, but his acting was probably the worst, I would say. I really,
He
I
was in that
didn't.
DMC lane where they didn't give him a whole lot to say.
Right, right. He was relatively quiet for most of the movie, and I was just like, yeah, I kind of saw why, but I did really like their dynamic though as a whole, like as a group.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit you with a bit of news of that came out of this movie, a big something that came out of this movie, but I'm gonna wait till we get to another Fat Boy scene,
Okay.
and it might surprise you. I would think it would kind of surprise you, but yeah, they're trying to get signed, and their funniest scene to me, as a kid, it was another scene, but now watching it, their funniest scene to me is when they're trying to get
Hmm.
into is the Fever is a real club, real iconic
Yep.
New York club back then. They're trying
Hmm.
to get in. They're underage, and they don't have. He's like, "Hey, we're rapping. We're rappers. We want to get on. We just want to rap." Da 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 da. And the bouncer at the door, they go back and forth with him for a long time in movie time, right? You can see
Right.
like if we was really standing outside that club, this might have been 10, 15 minutes of them going back and forth. So
Yeah.
that in movie time, they can, it's condensed to a couple minutes, but they're like doing that. And he finally relents. And he's like, all right, fine. But, don't go to the bar, blah, 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 blah. And he
Right.
says, all right, $10
ten
each to
dollars.
get in. And they both like, $10? Never mind. Kind of walk off.
Yeah,
So,
that was funny. And they did like a whole performance too. Like, didn't they do like a whole performance right before that he kind of,
yeah, yeah,
eased
yeah,
up and they got a bunch of eyes on it? Yeah, that was funny.
yeah, that was pretty good, and their dynamic is what makes them work as a unit uh,
Yeah.
in the movie and out and as a group, as a rap group. It worked pretty
Yeah.
well. Um, so we got now we're juggling all these different plot lines are kind of going along. We're trying to fund Def Jam, Fat Boys are trying to get on,
Hmm.
and Run is trying to get with Sheila, and
Yeah.
in all this, we meet some bad characters that kind of glide by, but then Russell decides, all right, I need this money, I need to get it off the ground, and he goes to see a loan shark, basically one of the guys he had seen in the club,
Yep.
and um, A, did you see that coming, or B, what did you feel when it happened? How did you feel when that happened?
Um, I wouldn't say I saw it coming, but I would say he had to get the money from somewhere, and there had to be some sort of antagonist in the picture. So I figured that he was gonna get some dirty money somehow.
Right.
I didn't know where it was gonna come from, who it was gonna come from, but I was like, okay, he gotta get the money from somewhere, and somebody gotta give it to him. So we'll see. But B, as far as how I felt about it, I think real first of all, the loan shark constantly having the girl like just on
Yeah.
his shoulder. I could not get past that. Like I was like every single scene that I'm seeing this dude, he got the girl just on his shoulder and she just rubbing him or whatever. I'm like, what is happening? um,
So I skipped over, or maybe I haven't skipped over yet, but somewhere in there, Curtis Blow appears, and he got the same kind of thing going on as
yeah.
far as the girls goes. I mean, he's clearly a good character in the movie, but he's just standing around his two girls, one on each shoulder, just kind of hanging around him. And Russell asks to talk to him, and he's like, "Give us 5 minutes, girls." And
Right. I'm like that has to be for appearance because I'm just like they just sitting there not doing nothing, not saying nothing. I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess they're just there, cool. Um, but yeah, so
looking
I
at it
thought,
now, it's silly, and
yeah,
yes, it's got to be just for appearances. But I'm gonna go back
right.
to being that 14-year-old little boy sitting in the theater. It's like, oh, Curtis Blow is so cool.
He's so, he's so cool. And I thought about that too. I was like, if I was younger, I probably would. And like, if I can't, well, if I was, young when the movie came out, I was like, I probably would have thought it was the coolest thing ever. Because I'm just like, he got two girls on his arms, like on both arms, like he give him just tell him give him five. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. And yes, to Curtis Blow stays and keeps the tradition alive amongst the cast. He is not very good at acting, but he is very good at being Curtis Blow.
He is.
So he
He
gets to do
is.
that. I want to say
So
he's still DJing on the radio somewhere.
is he
I
really?
want to say that. I'm not sure, 100% sure, but I think he is.
Shout out Curtis Blow. My first ever song listening to Curtis Blow was actually from a video game. It was NBA 2K. I think it was 12, and he's on the main soundtrack. And basketball is the main song for it. So whenever you load up the game, that's the song that plays as like the intro title loads and all that type of stuff. And
Wow.
that's one of my earliest memories of hearing his music, and just hearing that song. Could probably do the whole first verse right now. But yeah, so shout out Curtis Blow.
Yeah, my first experience was, obviously way before that. It was a song called The Breaks.
Yeah.
And I used to play the breaks over and over and over and over. And then
Hmm.
eventually Run DMC came along, and I hardly ever listened to Curtis Blow anymore. Not that he hasn't has had good songs, not that he's not an icon. It was like I moved on. There
Yeah.
is one Curtis Blow song I still listen to every year, and that's Christmas Rap or Rapping Christmas, whatever it's called.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I do make sure I get that in every year. And he's
Yeah.
kind of the voice of reason in the movie.
Hmm.
Uh, whenever Russell's kind of spiraling out of control or Run is, acting crazy on the other side, they all kind of run into Curtis somewhere, and he kind of tries to talk some sense into him. So he's the
Right.
wise old sage of the film, and it fit
Right.
because you know his his biggest run was basically 77, 78 to 81, 82.
Yeah.
And again, that's 82, 83. Run DMC starts coming in, and LL Cool J and all these other people start coming in. And
Yep.
already, even though it hadn't been that many years, so Curtis Blow, I mean, he might have barely been 30,
Yeah.
but at that time, rap was changing so rapidly. It was, what was
Hmm.
2 years ago was already completely obsolete at
Right.
that point. People were
Right.
already starting to make fun of the way Curtis Blow rapped and the way Melly Mel and Grandmaster Flash and all them rapped.
Right.
Um, So it was interesting. Like now things they still change. They still change a lot, but I don't think it's as fast because we're
Yeah.
not in rap's infancy anymore.
Yeah. It's not. It's definitely not at the pace that it was. Uh, at that time, because I even said in my notes, I was like, I can tell that it was. I It's gonna sound like I'm glazing, but I could tell that this was kind of pre-Rakim. Just some of
Yeah,
the like,
yeah,
because it lacked, maybe some of the internal rhyme schemes, and some other stuff going on. But it was so crazy to listen to, and I had such a deep appreciation for it, because I'm like, this is a look into the starting point, into the early life of rap and hip hop and what it has become. But it's just so crazy to listen to that, and I come on and I turn Nas, and I mean, timeline wise, that's not that like that's not that many years apart, but it's just like it already evolved so fast to that point, to where we
yeah.
we could get
It
somebody like
it did.
Nas.
If you want to hear a good, and maybe you've already heard it, but a good example of a newer rap style and an older rap style on the
Hmm.
same song, listen to Live at the Barbecue. Uh, it's MC Search
Hmm.
featuring a bunch of different people. Nas is one of those people,
Okay, I
and you
haven't
hear,
heard that one.
yeah, you hear his verse, and then you hear everybody else's verse. Is they're not even in the same, it's like they're barely in
Completely
the same
different.
genre, barely, because he's
Yeah.
what he's doing, and he was really young at that time, like 17, something like that.
Hmm.
But what he was doing was different as far as internal rhyme schemes. And I'm sorry, guys out there, we're getting into kind of nerdy hip hop stuff,
Oh
but
yeah. Sorry.
But as far as like the way rhyme schemes work, for me, it's always a three-headed monster. It's
Mm,
Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and Cool G Rap.
Yep. Yep.
and when they hit the scene, everything changed.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, when, like, I literally looked up after the movie was done. I looked up when Paid in Full came out, and then versus when the movie came out, because I was just like, I mean, and obviously Rakim was, active, and making his rounds around New York, but in terms of just the album and his style and how that just kind of shifted rap into, him, Big Daddy Kane, and Cool G Rap, like the way that they just kind of shifted rap to a more what you hear, nowadays with a lot of it's just crazy to listen to.
yeah, and that kind of brings me back to the movie a bit because we do get a performance from Curtis Blow of "If
Yep,
I Ruled the World," the original "If I Ruled the World."
the original.
And had you ever heard that before?
I have, yeah.
Okay. And
So,
obviously, Nas would later make it a bigger hit with Lauryn Hill
yep.
singing background on that, and you
Hmm.
could really tell the difference
Yeah.
in the level of lyricism that is
Yeah,
between the two.
yeah,
So that was it's always fun to look back. I'll just put it
yeah,
that way. It's always fun to look back.
absolutely.
Uh, as far as the movie goes, though, if we're gonna get back to the movie, we do have a big plot point again. Still, Run is he's trying to get with Sheila. He's kind of
Hmm.
hanging out at her apartment, and she does a little freestyle I thought was cute.
Yeah.
And the big thing that comes out of that though is that he tells her that he's going to put her and her band on stage, during a
Hmm.
Run DMC performance, and they basically sneak onto the stage,
Yep.
and this causes some friction. Um, the song was Holly Rock, not my favorite Sheila song, but it's fun. It's an upbeat song.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the movie goes, uh, like I said, we got some tension now. The promoter doesn't want to pay Russell because for both acts because he only hired him for one act. So I'm paying you for one act. So
Yeah.
Russell's kind of bent out of shape about that. Then of course he goes and takes it out on Run, and they
Yeah.
have this big brouhaha backstage.
Yeah.
Story wise, how were you there?
Yeah, one of the notes I had was I feel like everybody was wrong. I feel like Run was wrong because if I'm promoting it, I'm putting us on stage, and I'm the one that's in charge of making sure the money's right, and all that type of stuff. You gotta at least tell me, or come talk to me and be like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing where I'm going, show some love to Sheila E. Like, you know, is that okay or whatever?" So the fact that they just kind of just all right, y'all. Come out, announce that. Oh yeah, we got somebody else for y'all, and
Right,
then bring
right.
in Sheila E in their group. I'm just like, yeah, that ain't cool. Obviously, afterwards with Russell kind of blowing up at Run, what I didn't like from Run's perspective is the fact that he was gonna do that and then leave. Like at least it
Yeah,
seemed like to me they had every intention of going with Sheila E and just dipping. And I was like, nah, that ain't cool. That's not cool. Like we had it on the schedule for a Run DMC performance. The crowd obviously is waiting on Run DMC. You gonna promote Sheila E and then just be like, all right, I'm out. I'll see y'all later. Nah.
yeah.
Nah,
That
that ain't
that's
cool.
that's not cool at all. You know what? I'm not sure he was if him and Russell didn't get into it that he was going to do that,
Yeah,
right? Um,
yeah,
so I think that he thought that he was doing something good for Sheila, and of
yeah.
course that would be an inroads to getting with her.
Right,
Um, but he was going to perform because people come to see Run DMC, and then
right.
he's hot headed. So after him and Russell get into it, it's like, oh, no, I'm not doing this. But he
Yeah,
does go out there and they do the song is just like that, and that was the way that song sounds is more indicative of what the rest of their catalog is really like. Like
yeah,
some of their big hits got a rock influence, but most of their other songs kind of was in the vein of it's like that as far as the beat, the
yeah.
track, the lyrics,
Hmm.
all that kind of thing. And what do you think of it's like that?
I like It's Like That more than I liked the first one that they had.
Okay.
I really like It's Like That, and I felt like especially with what had just happened, like the tension and Run's energy was high. Like I know he was doing the whole spiel that he was going on at the beginning where he was like, "This is my house" and all that. Like he was doing that to kind of take aim at Russell a little bit, but I felt like it worked. Like it worked with the performance, it worked with the energy, and I was just thinking, if I was really there in the audience, watching this performance, like I would have been right there with him, screaming whatever he was asking us to retort back. Like I think that tension kind of fed greatly into the performance in a positive way. So I think that helped my view of the song too, because I was like, yeah, like I was feeding off the energy myself watching, and I was like, yeah, I can really get into it. So I really like that performance. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, and it the interesting thing about that is they actually took what Run MC just normally did on stage because they did that. That's what Run always did. He would come out and do that
Yeah.
whole spiel and get the crowd hype. And Jam Master Jay would be cutting the record exactly like he was. Run, run,
Hmm.
run, just like that, the whole thing. And they managed to fit it into the movie in a way that uh, pushed the story forward. So I think that was possibly the height of storytelling in this movie.
Yeah.
In this movie, you know?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I felt like that scene, it was a great mix of tension and then what the tension ended up leading into, and then that performance, like I thought that was very, very well done. And I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, yeah. That was a big, big, big moment. From there, like so things were spiraling out of control. We got Russell's actually getting chased around by the loan sharks, thugs.
Goons up.
I almost forgot. Did you recognize the promoter,
The promoter.
the one that told him
Oh,
that I'm only paying you for one act?
no, I did not. The white guy, right?
No, no,
Was he
no,
white?
black guy.
Oh, he was black. No, 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 I did not. I did not. Who was the promoter?
The promoter was actually Russell Simmons, the real one.
Was it really? You know
Yeah,
what's crazy? I was looking like throughout the whole movie. I was like, where is like because I felt like he was gonna be in there at least for a second. So I was like, where is Russell Simmons? That's crazy. How did I not know that? That's cool. That's cool though. I'm
yeah.
glad he was able to get a little cameo in.
Oh, he was definitely going to do that. I mean, it's about them. Um,
Right, right.
the the thug recognized also. If you've seen House Party,
Yeah. Him, I
those
knew, I knew him from somewhere. I just couldn't
yes,
put my finger on it. But yeah,
yeah,
he definitely looked familiar.
same exact role played in House Party.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean that is what it is. Let me see. We got a couple more comments here. Let's see what's going on out
Yep.
there. And oh, I think we got an answer. Album Helter Skelter Nocturnal and artist Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Those are great, great answers.
Great
Um,
answers.
Helter Skelter, that Nocturnal album, it was a moody, dark kind of album,
Yeah.
and Del the Funky Homo Sapien is just the oddball um, rapper. I don't know. Have you ever heard any Del?
I have,
Yeah.
and I heard Dell origin. The first time I heard Dell was actually from a Gorillaz track. He's on the, I
Okay.
forget the name. I think Clint Eastwood, I think it's called, but they linked up with him and he has a verse and he killed it. And I was just like, oh, I gotta go check out more. So that's a great answer. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. That is a great answer. Um, Allegedly, he's Ice Cube's cousin. I'm
Allegedly.
not sure if that was a real thing or a play thing. I don't know.
Right.
Somebody you know, fit for the king.
Hey.
Hey, sis.
Hello, that's my mother.
Yep.
How you doing?
So now she's here. Deanna's kind of hanging around. You're here, and this is the part where your uncle fishes for compliments. So you guys were all at the house for Mother's Day, and I was slaving over a hot grill. How was the food?
It was great. It was great. You did a great job. Took some home and everything.
That's cool.
I,
I'm glad you guys all had a good time that day. Uh, I thought the
absolutely.
Fat Boys pulled their weight as far as their acting goes. I don't know if that's a pun, Steve, or what we doing.
pulled their weight. That's a bar. That's a bar. I like it.
Do like it though. I do like it. Devil man, he's got the Spurs this year. I know Cavs going to be cursed in the series against you good old Knicks. We did talk about that earlier. I don't know if you were here when we were talking about that, Prince.
Mhm.
Um, I will say this about the Spurs: the more I see Wembyana, the more I'm a believer
Yeah,
because
he's ridiculous.
it's freakish to
Ridiculous.
be that big and that athletic, that tall and that athletic.
And still be that skilled. Like he's
Yes,
that tall and he's pulling up from 30 feet for the
yes,
game
yes.
winning game tying shot. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Thanks for the correction. It wasn't MC Search. MC Search is on the track, but yes, it's the main source. Made the
Main
album. Large
source.
Professor. Shout
Okay.
out Large P, Extra P. Yeah, main source. Nas, MC Search is on there, and yeah,
Got
so
you.
Large Professor and MC Search. They're not bad rappers at all. I love them both.
Hmm.
They're not Nas.
Yeah, I was about to say you can't. They hopping on the track with Nas, so
Large Professor has some. He's one of the biggest producers. He's an underrated producer. Let me put it that way. He's did a lot of
mm,
tracks that are great. All right. In the movie, we kind of check back in with the Fat Boys, and they're kind of struggling with what they want to be, who they want to be, if they even want to do it anymore. At least, well, one of them is struggling. Cool Rock is kind of struggling with that,
yeah.
and we get to a scene where they go into a buffet, all you can eat buffet, and first thing
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say is it says 3.99 all you can
Three
eat.
nine. Thank you. I was
3.99.
like,
Look, Yolanda and Ari watched it with me. For anybody who
uh-huh.
doesn't know, that's my wife Yolanda and my youngest daughter Ariel, and they watched me. We all kind of like 3.99. Wow, and I had forgotten the price was that cheap. But
Right, right.
they
I
go in there
paused
and
the
they wreck
movie.
shop to the song "All You Can Eat." Give me a
Mhm.
1 to 10 on "All You Can Eat."
I'm not gonna lie, All You Can Eat was my least favorite record on the entire movie. I
Ooh,
liked it. It was cool for like the scene, and I thought it was nice to move the story along to kind of rebonding over the food and
right
and then it leads to one of my favorite moments actually where they leave, they're getting chased by the cop, and then they sit on the door or the stoop or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, we should be the Fat Boys. So I thought that was cool. But the song itself, I was just like, it's cool. It's
now.
probably nothing.
Let you know a little secret there.
Uh,
99% of people who have ever heard that song don't listen to it outside of the context of the movie. So you're
yeah.
probably right.
I can hear
It goes
that.
with the scene. It's perfect, but people don't really like just sit around and listen to all you can eat.
Right,
Now,
right.
this is where I'm gonna give you the big thing that came out of this movie, and a lot of it had to do with this particular scene because it was a pretty funny
Hmm.
scene. And I remember going to see the movie, and everybody kind of laughing just hysterically at this scene, and the following scene when they change their name to Fat Boys.
Hmm.
Um, they got I can't remember the studio. I want to say Universal, but I can't remember the studio offhand. But they got a 3 movie deal out of this. Yeah.
Really, really. Wow.
Now, continue the story just a little bit though. They made
Uh,
1 movie. The movie was called Disorderlies. It
okay.
bombed. It's bad, and then they never made the other 2 movies.
Oh my god. Why did they get a three picture deal from that?
Because coming out of the movie, it was everybody felt that they stole the show.
Mm,
Everybody
okay.
knew Run DMC was the big stars of the movie, and it was about Def Jam, and everybody knew that. But the Fat Boys, one, they were a fairly new act at the time.
Yeah.
They really were kind of up and coming act, but their scenes tended to be the most memorable at that time, anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I can see that. Like I said, their dynamic was my favorite, so I can understand that. But three picture deal, come on now.
yeah,
Let's be for real. Let's be for real.
the the most memorable scene for a lot of people is when a lot of the artists are sitting, Def Jam artists are sitting around in the office. Rick Rubin, the producer, we got Run DMC
Yep.
is in there, Jam Master Jay, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I can't remember which one he was, but Andre Harrell is one of them.
Yep.
Um, and they're holding auditions in the office, and
Hmm.
they've done for the day. They haven't found anybody they want, and LL Cool J comes walking into this
Yep.
office, and he just they first Jam Master Jay acts like he's gonna pull the gun on him,
Hmm.
and LL just kind of goes box. He says box, and Earl hits the radio. The song comes on. I can't live
Yeah.
without my radio. He only did the first
Mm.
verse, but in the theater, that was like the most electric moment because everybody, LL was he was right on the cusp of being everything at that point.
Right. Right.
So for me, that was a great moment. Possibly the moment your mother fell in love with LL Cool J. Possibly. Same goes for my wife. So she can
That's
your
funny.
mom's here. She can tell me if that's true or not. Uh,
Uh,
this moment, did it stick for you at all?
it did. It did. I thought it was really cool. I kept seeing LO, saw LO's name on the board earlier in the movie, and I'm like, he's got to make an appearance. Like I know he's he's just got to make an appearance. So when he came in, I was like, oh, finally, all right, cool. And then box, and then he just starts going in. So I was like, I really enjoyed that. It definitely stuck with me, and it made me think too. Like I love how because a lot of people don't really think about how performative you kind of have to be a really good like rapper, to stick with people and to be someone that people can remember and think about later. And there has to be something about you, whether it's your style, whether it's your how you rap, whether it's your performance. Like there's got to be something different about you. And the confidence that he walked in with, and then not even saying nothing, he didn't even had to say number one word, and then just to be able to go in like that, spit his verse with such confidence and bravado, and then just end it and walk out. Like I thought that was cool, and that's something that isn't really shown or highlighted that much when we talk about rappers and what they have to do, to make it.
Oh yeah.
And
If you ever just want to go down an LL rabbit hole, go on YouTube, watch a bunch of his videos, and you'll
mm,
see how much of a persona he is.
yeah,
And I got to see him live once. Um, this was in the '90s. It was me and Yolanda were already together, so we went to see him.
hmm,
R. Kelly was on that bill, actually, the headline for that bill.
mm,
Um, but yeah, seeing him perform was crazy. Um,
hmm,
and for me, when we talked about top fives earlier, LL has to be in my top five. He's
respect.
technically he's well, not technically, he is the first Def Jam artist. So, and he started when he was like 14 or 15.
Yep.
When Crush Groove comes out, he's 16 or 17,
Hmm.
and then he's here still. He just dropped the album last year in his
He
50s,
did. He
and
did.
he's a managed to adapt. We were talking about when rap changed. He's a guy who he started out kind of he advanced what Run DMC was doing a little bit, right? And he had all the
Yeah.
bravado, all the swagger, and all that things. And then when other rappers came in, he adapted. When we got
Yep.
to the '90s, he adapted again. When we
Hmm.
got to early 2000s, he even adapted again.
Yeah.
And he's just up there for me because he just keeps doing that, and he can do it with a he can do it with the female friendly songs, and I hate to kind of say it that way, but that's kind of
I
what it
mean,
was. When,
yeah,
like stuff
yeah,
like "I Need Love" and the more
yeah.
braggadocious songs. So yeah, LL it definitely is one that's in my top five. Um, but that scene aside, Russell still running from bad guys. Fat
Hmm.
Boys, they decide to do their thing, and then they actually sing. They actually do another song called Fat Boys, and
Yep.
that was the song most of us were playing. When they were out, we weren't playing. Like I said, we weren't playing All You Can Eat. We were playing Fat Boys, and then Fat Boys Are Back. Those were two songs that they had.
Yep.
Um, Fat Boys, I always thought was definitely better than All You Can Eat, even though I love both.
Yeah.
And so they enter a contest, and there's another group there performing in that contest.
Yep.
One New Edition.
went in
Have you ever
audition.
seen them so young?
No, like I was so like shocked because I was like, man, they look young, like they look
Yes.
extremely young. But it was definitely funny to see. Uh, that took me a second to get past for sure.
Now this is I feel like I'm putting your mom on blast all night right now, but
Mm,
this was definitely around the time when she was totally in love with New Edition. Everything was New Edition for
yeah.
for a while, and
Mm.
between her and the girls that I went to school with, who were all in love with New Edition, I was kind of a hater back then. I was like, they suck.
I felt the
I've
same way about Chris Brown because for us it was Chris Brown growing up. All the girls loved Chris Brown. Everybody loved Chris Brown. I'm like, oh, I don't care about Chris Brown. Nobody want to listen to
yeah yeah
that.
yeah I've come around on New Edition. I really do like them, and I
Yeah.
recognize that. Yes, I was just a hater.
Sometimes you gotta recognize that. Sometimes you gotta recognize that.
Recognize. If I missed you, just have a good night and hope you catch the replay. If not, we'll chit chat back and forth like we always do. Um,
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming out. I'm doing Russell Simmons bit. I was just about to launch into that. Def Comedy Jam. He used to come out at the end of every episode,
Hmm.
and he just say, "Thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night." And that was it. And that was the end of his thing. So plots moving forward, and the beef between Russell and Run is getting a little thicker because somebody has stepped in and offered Run a side deal. Basically, he's trying to poach him away from Def Jam, and he's
Yep.
offered him a bunch of money. And well, we had a laugh about that as far as a bunch of money because it was $20,000 that
Twenty
was
thousand.
offered for Run DMC, Curtis Blow, Dr. Juggling, all the whole shebang. It was
Right.
$20,000 offer to Russell, and he rightfully turned it down. I mean, but
Hmm.
he just happened to be in a tough spot, and Run couldn't see it that way. And
Right.
uh, we talked earlier about how everybody was wrong. How you think they are here?
Yeah, I think it's tough because when you got your brother on the label and he's trying to make it big and make as much money as they can and all that, but you're in charge of running it and making sure that it stays afloat regardless of whether they're there or not. Like
Right.
it's a tough spot. It's a very tough spot to be in. I truthfully, when I watched that scene, I don't know if I was Russ. I don't know what I would have done. Like, do I? I mean, obviously, he should have turned down, and he did. But at the same time, like, you do have to realize that's something your brother's gonna ask you about. Like, all right, so this $20,000 that's so big, why did you deny that from us to keep that from us? And that's gonna have to be a conversation that you gotta have. So,
Yeah.
it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, and in between all that, Sheila kind of, tells Run, I don't like you like that. You're kind of like a little brother to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And after one of Russell's beatdowns, because Doug's keep catching up with him, and he just kind of pops over Sheila's house one night. And uh, was there enough setup for that, in your opinion?
It is so funny. I literally have. I felt like it was kind of rushed. Like I like not necessarily the scene, but like just their dynamic, the
Mm,
so-called connection that they had, it was like immediate. Like, all right, Run's now kind of officially out of the picture because before that Sheila had like denied him or whatever, and then he went and off with that girl or whatever, and then Russ is immediately there, and the next
mhm.
scene they're in the bed, and I'm like, all right, I guess we're just here now.
We're here.
Right,
We're here now.
right, right. And it was at that point, I want to say that was with maybe what like 15 minutes to go in the movie or something like that. Like we
Yeah,
were
we're getting down
near,
to the nitty-gritty.
right nearing the end, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like all right, that happened. All right, cool. Now they're an item. Cool, I guess. Like I definitely felt like it was a we're snapping our fingers and now we're here type of thing.
Much. And again, going back to me being young watching this, you feel like this, that's you've been watching movies and the guy gets the girl, so you kind of feel like, okay, that's how it's supposed to happen. And
Right,
then especially, he shows up and he's got the tears rolling down his face, and
right.
there's the song they're playing "Tender Love" by the Force MDs. If you've not heard this song, go check out
Yeah.
this song. You know, uh any self-respecting young man who was trying to get with girls in the '80s had this song on a tape somewhere, and so it was like, that's how it's supposed to work out. But now going back
Right.
and watching it, it's like, well, we got here kind of quick.
It was
What
quick.
happened? Yeah, what
It
happened?
was quick. It was quick. I
Why are
mean,
you
no,
showing up here at all?
right, right. And I was just like, man, like it's like that. All right, all right. I mean, hey, y'all got it. Y'all got it.
So we kind of after that, things work out as they magically do. Spoiler for
They
anybody
always
who
do.
doesn't know that Def Jam worked out.
Mhm.
Things work out. They get the money. Fat Boys win another win talent show this time. They had lost to New Edition earlier. They win this
Yeah.
other talent show because New Edition couldn't show up. And
Yep.
we had a funny scene where they're crying over the stereo. They wanted the stereo system that the second
Yeah.
place act had won because they didn't know they won. And they get told that. And, all right, they got the deal.
Right.
And yeah, we just moved to the end of the movie. Then we got all of the acts there,
Yeah.
and they do the big finale, Crush Groove,
Yep.
and that was really like the most new song in the movie at the time that it came out. So that was the
Okay.
only one that most of us were quiet for because we didn't know the song, but we were like intently listening.
Right.
And
Right.
so it's one of the first posse cuts, as they would later become the known.
Yep.
And I had the soundtrack album and I played that thing over and over and over and over.
Hmm.
And even when I was watching it the other night, I could go word for word with it. Uh, I don't know if it's your first time ever hearing it, but
Hmm.
hearing it, what'd you think of the song "Source Groovin"?
I liked it. I liked it. I think that it was cool to hear, like you said, that type of posse cut that early. And everybody's going around, and I got like at least in the movie, I got like a cipher type of feel with it. They're kind of just passing the mic around, and everybody's spitting their little verse or whatever, and then they
They
move it
presented it
on.
that way for sure.
Right, right. So I thought that was dope. But I did really like the song. I actually did want to you had said the talent show and it had clicked for me. Just give a quick shout out to the Beastie Boys because they was
Oh yeah,
in
I forgot the
yeah,
boys. Yes,
they showed up in I don't know if it was the last talent show or maybe the one right before that, but I just remember hearing their name and being like, oh word, okay, cool, and I like their performance. But the last song was cool, and because it was like a cipher, like I said earlier, I couldn't help but think about like just where rap has kind of come and where it was at. Because the first thing that popped into my head was the Arsenio Hall show. As I'm sure you know, but for anybody who doesn't, the Arsenio Hall show I think it was the last episode, maybe.
yes.
I'm not sure, but they had a big cipher where they just had a bunch of rappers from MC Light to the Fushniks and the Wu Tang and all. And I was just thinking about that cipher, and I was like, man, it's so crazy to listen to that and come back to listen to like one of the first ones. Like it was really really dope to hear. Really really dope to hear.
Yo MTV Raps did that for their last episode also. They had a really,
Okay,
really big
cool.
one. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. If you, I would search Yo MTV Raps last episode and see if it pops up somewhere. Um, you
We'll
mentioned the
do
Beastie
that.
Boys. This triggers another small memory. We
Mm,
didn't really know who the Beastie Boys were at the time.
okay.
They were still trying to come out.
Got
So
you.
the song they
Okay.
came out, we were kind of when they did, we were kind of looking at each other like, okay, who these white dudes? What are they doing? And a few months later, they came out with some songs, "Hold It Now," and my favorite was
Hold it
"Paul
now.
Revere," and "No Sleep Till Brooklyn," all that kind
Mm,
of. Then, of course, "Fight for Your Right to Party."
mm,
All of that was the big one that really blew him up. Uh,
yeah.
so it's funny because, like I said, it was just a few months after the movie, all of that happened. But right as I'm sitting there watching it, it was like, I got nothing.
Who are y'all?
Who are y'all?
Right, right.
But yeah, they were funny. Any of the notes that you took that we didn't touch on?
Let me look actually. Hold on. Da-da-da. I got the Beastie Boys. Not the artist, not that one. Oh, the only other thing I had was that I did do a little bit of further research and looking up into some because the Fat Boys, I'm familiar with some of their bigger songs, but I haven't really done a deep dive into their discography yet, like their full discography. So I did, start putting those on my list to listen to, and I'm excited for more music. Same thing with like Sheila E. Like I haven't, like I said, didn't really know about her before this movie, so it's really cool to be able to go take from this movie. Like, oh, okay, I can go listen to Sheila E. See what I like from that or anything like that. So I'm excited about that coming up,
Cool,
but.
cool. Fat Boys, they they had such an interesting career because I mean the stuff they were doing in this movie was the stuff that got them really popular,
Mhm.
and then the movie deals came along, and then they kind of hit some pop fame for a while. They had like "Wipeout"
Mhm.
was a big song of theirs. I don't know if you've heard that one,
Yeah.
but yeah. And side note, there was a group that was trying to. There was a lot of copycat groups sometimes back in the day,
Yeah.
and so there was actually a group called the Skinny Boys that was,
Really?
and it was the same makeup. It was two rappers and a beatbox. It was crazy. But
Wow. Yeah, that's I don't know why. I mean, that is such a copycat like industry in terms of rap. Like anytime a regional sound blows up or anything happens, you guarantee that you'll have 10
yeah,
other rappers trying to
oh
do
yeah,
what they just
oh yeah,
heard.
yeah. It was that one was like one of the most blatant ones ever.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? Um, there were plenty of others. Roxanne Shante came out, and then there was. Have you ever heard the whole story about Roxanne and Roxanne Shante?
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
UTFO is a group. They had a song in this movie. They didn't appear, but they had a song in the movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, their big hit was a song called Roxanne Roxanne,
Yep.
and everybody in the group is just taking turns talking about Roxanne.
Mm-hmm.
This triggered a bunch of response tracks. I mean, we talking 50, 60, maybe more than that, of just different artists trying to get on, and they thought that the best way to do that was to make a track responding to Roxanne Roxanne. To understand how yeah, so to understand how big that song was, at least in the black community, that
Yeah.
song came on a few times a day on the radio, and then at night they would have a countdown, top 8 at 8, or top 10 of the day, whatever it was, and the song was
Mm-hmm.
like number 1 or 2 for weeks and weeks and weeks. So
Wow.
everybody's trying to capitalize off of it, and it was like one of the
Yeah.
only rap songs that you heard during the day back then. So
Wow.
back then, if you've heard Public Enemy's "Don't Believe the Hype,"
Yep.
so that song is basically, but they're responding to a lot of things, but the main thing they're talking about is well, one of the main things they're talking about is how rap was not played on the radio during the day back then. It was
Yeah.
only played like on Friday and Saturday night mix shows, DJ shows.
Right.
So that made Roxanne Roxanne special. So everybody's making all these songs, and that's how Roxanne Shante got started. She wrote a song responding to UTFO.
Wow.
UTFO, that song was like the biggest one of all the response songs. So UTFO was like, let's capitalize on this ourselves. And they found this girl, and somebody wrote her a song, and they called her the Real
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne.
Okay.
So then there was a beef back and forth between Roxanne Shante and the Real Roxanne. So yeah, that was it.
Okay. Okay. That's
Steve
cool.
has a comment. He says, it might not be the best movie ever, but it's sure fun. And how cool
Absolutely.
is it that this moment in time was captured in a movie? All right. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to bring it to you to almost as a response to this, but not really a response. But just this is the point where I ask my guests what you actually thought of the movie as a whole.
Yeah. So
So go for
I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I think that my love for hip hop helped my enjoyment of the movie. Like my girlfriend Naya, I don't think she would really like it or really be that interested in it. But I did enjoy the movie. Like I want to. I actually thought about today. Like I kind of wanted to watch it just to try to see what I could catch from it. You know, see if there anything else that I could see or any people that I might have missed, like Russell Simmons being, the promoter. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was a bad movie. The acting didn't deter me too much. Like I said, at some point I was just like, all right, cool. It's rappers being actors. It is what it is. Cool. Let's
Yeah,
just focus on the
and
story.
rappers weren't doing that at this time either.
Right.
Like when we got into the '90s, a lot of rappers started acting, but at this
Yep.
time, n- none of them were doing that.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So
It
you're
is what
not
it
really
is.
looking for award-winning performances. You're
Nope.
just trying to have a good time.
Trying to have a good time. Yeah, I think it's a great watch, in my opinion.
Like I said, I've seen it so many times, and I usually when I do these, I do take notes. But I've seen it, so
Mm.
I didn't write anything. So we can wing this.
Yeah.
Like this era. So I'm just gonna throw some out, and you let
hmm
me know yay or nay if you've seen them.
Okay.
Beat Street,
No, I haven't
okay.
seen Peach Street.
Breaking and Breaking Two,
Breaking two, no. Breaking, yes. I
yes.
watched it like in passing though, but Breaking, yeah.
Wild Style. Have you ever even heard of that name?
Wild Style. I don't know why. What was it? Wild Wild West with Will Smith. That one popped into my head, but I don't think I've seen Wild Style.
I'm gonna say probably not. That's what most people credit as the first hip hop movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it came out before Krush Groove even. It's most
Nice.
it, the main character is a graffiti artist, but there's lots of hip hop in it. Cold Crush Brothers are in it, and a lot of other old rappers.
hmm
Fat Five Freddy's in it, and I know that you've heard Illmatic by Nas.
Absolutely.
The opening track before New York State of Mind,
hmm
that's a clip from Wild Style.
Really?
Hmm.
Really? Was that the genesis of the first opening track up
Yes,
there? Okay.
yes,
Hmm.
that is a
Okay.
clip from Wild Style.
I might gotta
Um,
go check that out then.
and then there's a movie called Rappin'.
Rapping. There's a movie called Rapping.
Rappin'. Rappin apostrophe.
Rapping. All right. No, I ain't heard. I ain't seen that one. I
You're
definitely ain't
okay.
seen that one.
I've only seen that one in passing, like you say, like bits and pieces over here and there. Mario Van Peebles
Yeah.
is the main character,
Mm. Okay.
and yeah, it's not good.
The one that what was the one that came out somewhat recently, I guess. I don't know if it was really all that recent, but Anthony Anderson was in it. Not Hustle and Flow, but the
Not Hustle Flow.
yeah,
Mm.
but he's scouting this kid that's like a producer, that's like a beat maker, and the
Oh,
kid,
I have seen that movie. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I'm looking
yeah,
it up. I'm trying to see if I can look it up here. But yes, I do know that movie.
yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I did like that one. And I have seen Hustle and Flow. Me and I watched that together, and we both liked that one. We was for probably like
Yeah, Hustle and Flow is really
maybe yeah, probably like for 2 weeks after we watched Hustle and Flow, we was just going around saying "man" all the time, like "hey man," like 2 weeks straight because of Terrence Howard's Memphis accent in there. I thought it was
yes.
hilarious.
Beats is the name of that movie.
Beats, okay, Beats.
Hmm. That is the name of that movie. Yeah, that was pretty good. I did watch that. I'm gonna assume you've seen 8 Mile.
Seen 8 Mile. Seen 8 Mile. And the 8 Mile,
And
the in rap scene where he's battling the three dudes back to back.
Hmm.
I will say it here. I think he lost against Lotto. Like the second one or the second battle he
Okay.
had against Lotto with the tank top or whatever. I wouldn't say he lost, but I'll just say that battle was close, and it was closer than oh M just outright won. I think Lotto has some really clever bars in there, and I I'll die on that hill. That's okay.
Go back and watch it.
Hmm.
I watching it, you get so caught up in the movie and the character. It's like, oh yeah, he got everything. But so I'm gonna have
Right.
to go back and watch it. Um,
Yeah.
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh, 50s. Yeah. I bits and pieces. I haven't sat down and watched it, but I don't think I want to. I, I think I've
I
seen
don't.
enough.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. The ending was bad. Um,
Yeah.
there is a movie came out. This one almost nobody's heard of, so I'm gonna guess that you haven't seen this one. But it came
Hmm.
out about 10 years ago. It's called Morris from America, and this little kid named Morris, and he is living, I want to say, in Germany
Hmm.
with his dad. I think it's Craig. Yeah, Craig Robinson plays his dad.
Hmm.
If you don't know who Craig Robinson is, uh, heavy set black guy. He's in a lot of comedies. Does a lot of
Been a
singing. Um,
hot tub time machine.
people,
And
yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine.
mhm.
And this movie's not a comedy though. Just a regular drama. And he's a single dad, and they're living
Okay.
abroad. And his son is Morris, and Morris is really into hip hop. And I think that's one. If it's streaming somewhere, check it out. I think that's
Okay.
pretty good movie. All right.
I'll check it out.
We have made it to the end. I do see a couple of comments before we get out of here.
All right.
Um, we got Stacy is here. She's Acres of Movies. She says, "Love this one." Thanks from Stacy. Thank you, Stacy. Also, Godfather 4 announced. Really? I don't know. Godfather 3 was not that great, and that was 35, 36 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you like Bali?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's enjoyable for me. It's not like I'm not gonna be like it's the greatest movie ever, but it's enjoyable for me. I do like it.
I'm gonna put it this. I'm gonna say it this way. It's a bad movie. It's a really bad movie that I kind of love,
Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect.
and really enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
And I hope that means you be coming back, which I'm pretty sure it does. Big sis says, "Love y'all, love you too."
Love you too, Deanna.
And Stacy also really enjoyed the stream. And what about jumping at the boneyard? You got me on that one. I don't know that one. Jumping at the boneyard, know that one. Got me there. Straight Out of Brooklyn is a movie I've seen, but that's all. That's probably been 30 years since I've seen that. But that was I definitely enjoyed that film.
Hmm.
I don't remember it being actually hip hop related, but it came out around the time when Spike Lee was after Spike Lee had gotten kind of big. A
Yeah,
lot of independent black filmmakers started coming out and making their own movies, and Straight
yeah.
Outta Brooklyn, I think, is one of those.
Okay,
Like I said, I
cool.
thought it was a good movie, but I haven't seen it in 30 some odd years. All
Uh-huh.
right, nephew, I'm gonna give you the floor for just a second. If you want to tell people where to find you, if you want to tell them where to find you, or sing them a song, or give them a
Sing him
few
a
bars,
song.
whatever you want to do,
uh,
all yours.
I'll keep my bars for me, but just thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, I was really excited to be here. If you guys want to or interested in following me, I do have Instagram. It's at Echoes of Eli, so it's the same handle that you see right here in the bottom corner. Reach out to me, follow, like some posts up there. I try to highlight some hip hop related music or just any music that I'm listening to that I just feel like sharing. Try to get some posts out there about that. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really enjoyed it.
All right. So maybe in the future, knock down one of those older movies if you're willing. So
Absolutely.
we'll have you back at some point. We'll have Big Sis back at some point. And yes,
Absolutely.
I'm 100% trying to shame my own children into getting on here, but none of them will.
I get talk to Kiera. I think I get well no not Kiera Ari. I think I get Ari to come over there.
She won't do it. I tried. Maybe so. We'll see. Stacy says Breaking to Electric Boogaloo is classic. It is definitely a hood classic for sure. And that brings me to what I'm gonna say is that for my own channel, am well, not even on my own channel, but I am joining another group with KB and Big Chris, aka Floyd House Flicks, and at some point we're going to start a series talking about hood classics. Um,
Nice.
if I wasn't supposed to spill it, KB will let me know, and I apologize. But I spilled it. But yeah, at some point, and hopefully in the next few weeks, we will actually start rolling out those episodes, probably once a month. There, Two Old Geeks is another series that I'm a part of. That's with my guy Troy, the comic book movie collector, and that episode should be coming up next week. And in the meantime, other videos just pop up randomly whenever I can get to them. And that's really all I have, guys. So thank you for hanging out with us. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with us again. And I will see you guys